Okay, yesterday we talked about this Chinese word. You still remember?
Yes, we did. Sup.
And
Sup.
you know the word for retarded is...
Sapa.
Yes. Do you know the actual origin of that? You know this is...
Big smile?
Yeah, or a very blank smile.
Blank.
Yeah, it's called 十熟狗頭.
Oh yeah, okay, I've heard that. Yeah, I've heard
dog
that.
head.
Yeah. Oh yes, the boiled dog head.
You know the boiled dog head?
Yes, because somebody called somebody that in politics years ago, and it will take. Oh, I know.
Yes.
Okay, Canadian politics.
Yeah.
A Canadian politician called Jack Layton. One of the old politicians. He was called that by a Guaylo called another Guaylo that.
Oh.
And it was Emerson out of Vancouver, and he called one of the other politicians, Jack Layton. He called him that, and it was in a meeting, and all the Cantonese people freaked out because it was a Guaylo in Vancouver talking about another Guaylo in another part of the country, and he called him that.
The boiled head.
Yeah, and they were all like, "How do you know that?"
Yeah.
Well, both of these guys have Cantonese wives.
Ah.
And I'm sure Emerson's wife was like, "Oh, just lay this down. Everybody will love it."
Boro is actually sap.
Sap.
Sap is
Boiled, right?
Boro is sap.
Yeah,
it's kind of like sap.
Yeah. Okay.
So you say the boiled dog head, right? You leave out the dog head.
Yeah.
Yeah, you leave out the animals. Just sap.
Just boiled, no skin, and all you can see
it's
is
kind
all
of like
teeth.
this.
Yeah, that's exactly what Emerson was saying about this guy.
So it's kind of like shabu shabu in Japanese.
Ah, okay.
So this is sapa sapa.
Yeah.
Shabu shabu.
Right.
Okay, I'm not talking about this today.
Okay.
I want to turn to this.
Which is?
English word, which is?
Exemptions.
Exemption.
Yeah.
Keyword for today.
Okay.
Exemptions.
Well, you can get I want to talk about you can get a partial exemption on your tax that you pay on your new automobiles if they are deemed green. Okay.
I got that a few years back, I have to tell you.
Oh, did you? You got a green, you got what was considered a green car at the time?
I got a Prius from Toyota.
Okay. Prius is probably almost certainly still on the list. So every year they update the list.
Yep.
And last year when the list came out, all the European cars were off. All but two. All of a sudden the list was all Japanese. And of course everyone who likes European cars
I thought BMW was on the list.
They had there were 2 European cars on the list, and then there were 19 Japanese. The list itself had been dramatically shortened. It was something like 40 some odd cars that got put down to 20. Just on commercial vehicles. Consumer vehicles. I'm not talking commercial.
Not the trucks and all that.
Not the trucks and cranes.
Not the Euro 5 and all that.
Yeah.
But
now
vehicles.
there are Euro 5 consumer vehicles coming out.
Yeah.
But so all these cars got taken off the list. So now we're waiting to find out what the new list is going to be. The consultations are underway right now.
Okay.
And everyone's going to see if the Europeans get shut out again. And I know the Europeans were furious about this.
But I thought the Consulate General must object to that.
Well, there's individual consul generals, and then there's Europe. Right? Because then there's the European Chamber of Commerce here as well.
Exactly.
And the head of the European mission. And, because these things are all argued on very technical grounds, it's hard to come in and say, oh, this was political, because then the guys are like, well, it's just technical, and, just suck it up, and maybe you get better next year. Well, now it's next year. And everybody's waiting to see.
All right.
What's going to happen? Who's going to be on the list?
Okay.
Are the Japanese going to shut it down? And everyone's like, but the Japanese cars aren't that much better. But, you tweak the regs here, tweak the regs there.
But I think for the bureaucrats, perhaps the Japanese system is easier to verify.
Yeah.
Because I know, because I also have a European car who can get the tax exemption.
Oh, as well. Okay.
After the Prius.
Right.
So it's a much more difficult system. The Germans has designed a much more difficult system.
Yeah.
So perhaps, I think, according to government's definition or bureaucratic definition,
it
will be harder to verify.
Well, I think
that may be the reason why, but that is not a good reason, though.
No, it's not a good reason. And I think the other thing is that the Europeans designed their cars to make it a little bit easier to present information on carbon emissions.
Yep.
Whereas the Japanese are more interested in NO2.
Yep.
Or NOx, as they call it, NOx. And so that is another kind of subtle twist that affects the technical readouts. I mean, it's very complicated, but more complicated than we're getting into in this show.
Yeah.
But the list is coming out. Car lovers have to be watching for this.
Conceptually, you kind of understand that European car and the Japanese car are aiming for different aspects to lower different types of emission. I think that's the key. And it's more important for the government to embrace broader views. I mean, after all, green cars has not been too popular So I think they should embrace a broader concept.
Well, there's a question about whether or not this tax exemption, this partial tax exemption, works at all. Or whether the government would be better spent, instead of giving the money back to people in the form of a reduced tax, using it to buy up older vehicles and get them off the road. Some people call that, operators being asked to be bribed to get their vehicles off the road, but apparently it's a much more effective package for.
It's a much more effective paradigm shift.
Yeah.
Say.
Yeah. So this is a complicated one, and we're writing about it. We wrote about it in Harvard Times this week, so maybe people can go to the website and check it out.
All right, thank you.
All right,
exemptions. Keyword for today.
You bet.
Thank you.